Hello and welcome to this next tutorial, and this tutorial is to show you how to use registrations. What's registration? Well, it's the 10 buttons on the front of the keyboard that memorize the settings that you create on the keyboard. So, for example, in my number one, I've put this lovely guitar sound on, I've got this lovely rhythm. Lovely. So I'm going to show you how you do this. So, for example, I've chosen this guitar, so I go into my guitars, and you can see better here. So I've got concert guitar, choose that, and then I've been to my rhythm, and I've picked 6/8 pop ballad. Okay, and then what I want to do is save into this registration memory, because along the way while I'm playing I want to change sounds, and it would be virtually impossible to go and do this live while you're playing. So these buttons here are kind of like a little shortcut. Well, in fact, they are a shortcut. They will do everything that you want the keyboard to do just simply by pressing it. So it takes a photograph of the keyboard. So all the settings, all the volumes, your choice of registration in terms of voice, rhythm, the variation on it remembers everything. This is the gold standard in saving registrations, because Yamaha have absolutely got this sussed. It's perfection. And it's got to be good, because other keyboard manufacturers are actually copying this design and using the same sort of system. So you know you're off to a good start with this already. So my first registration, I've got my guitar. Okay, I want to save this. So what do I do? Okay, well, on the main panel here, there's a memory button, a little black button that says memory. It's very out the way compared to all the others that light up. It's just sitting here with memory. So what I do is I press this button, and when I do, the screen changes to this. And everything that you see that has a tick will be saved. So everything, pretty much everything on this keyboard, apart from transpose. And I'm going to show you why when we go a little bit further into the video. But I don't save the transpose in my registration, and I'll show you shortly why. Okay, so that will appear on the screen. Then all I need to do is, while that's on the screen, is to press number 1, and it will flash. Flash, flash, flash. Okay, so what that's done is taken a photograph of everything, the way the keyboard is set up, and it's saved it into this button here. Okay, now if I go and change that guitar sound to a piano, go into my pianos, okay, add a little bit more reverb to my piano. Okay, I've still got the rhythm. I want to save that now into my second registration. So I go memory, the screen changes to this, and then what I do is I press number 2 and it will flash. Flash, flash, flash. It's taken a photograph. It's taken a copy of what you see on this instrument. Now if I go back to my number 1, if you remember, it was a guitar, and there it is. Piano. Okay, so now you get the gist. If I want to go and add something to it, add the strings, I press memory, number 3. it flashes. It's taking a photograph. Okay, you getting me? You're understanding this? This is so simple. And then you can play. If I go to number 2, it knows it's piano. And again, number 1 is guitar. And for example, on number 3, if I want to change my rhythm variation to letter C, okay, so variation C, if I press memory 3, it now will remember in 3 that the registration changes. So if I look at number 1, see how it's on A? When I press 3, it jumps to C and it's got my strings and guitar or piano. So it takes, this is the easier way to understand this. It takes a photograph of what your keyboard is doing at that moment in time. If, for example, I was to add something a bit more obvious, like a brass sound, go pop horns. Press memory number 4. Now that is saved into memory number 4. Okay. So, what do I do next? I've got my 10 registrations already filled. Right, I need to save this. I want this to be called, what should we call it? Let's pick a name as we're doing this. So I'm going to save this now into my keyboard. Now, where am I going to save it? Well, I'm going to save it on this. Ta-da! My trusty Yamaha USB stick. Okay. And this stick is going to save that registration onto it. So if I want to go and play at a friend's house, or maybe I want to go out and play a concert, I can simply transfer that file onto here, and as long as there's a Genos at the other place that I'm going to, and that's the key, you then use this USB stick to put your registration, and you can just simply sit and play as if you're playing your own instrument at home. So this will go into the front of my keyboard. Now there's no other USB sticks plugged in the back or underneath, because let's not forget there's a trapdoor under this thing where you can have a USB stick and use as a memory. There is none of those in here. There's only this one USB stick. Okay, now the thing to get your head around here is everything relating to registrations is accessed from this bar here. Top left-hand corner, there's a grey bar that says Regist. And if I press that bar, then this is what will pop up. And because my USB stick is already in, you'll see USB 1. If I take it out and put the stick back in again, you'll actually see what happens. Because it'll say USB device is connected, and it will show it. So, USB 1. Press where the USB 1 is, and I'm going to save it on here. And I'm going to call this, that's just the word song. Simple. So I press the button at the top that says file, or press on the screen where it says file. And then I choose press save. And it's alright if you look on the left hand side, USB 1 is still lit white. And there's an option at the top now says save here. So if I press save here and call this song, and then press OK. You see now my USB stick is updated and song is highlighted. It's the 5th item down on the left hand side and it's there, song. Okay, now here's the important bit that seems to be missing from a lot of people. If I go back to the keyboard, when I press song, some people automatically assume that my registration just weirdly appears here, and it doesn't, because don't forget these are your registration buttons, so unless you press something here nothing will ever happen. So you highlight the song and then for example, I know number 1 should be my guitar. Press number 1, and it should have the 6/8 rhythm. And there we have it. Number 2 should be my piano. And 3 should be my piano and strings. And there it is. See, this is easy. This is child's play. This really is very, very easy to do. Okay, so now we have saved that registration. So let's now pretend in the land of play that we are at somebody else's house. And I'm taking my stick out of here. Okay, so we are back to this Genos. This is my friend Dave's keyboard. I've got my magic stick. I want to show Dave my new registration that I've created for a song. So I simply put my stick into the keyboard. There we go. Okay. So now the registration stick is in. How do we get this registration back? And like I said to you at the beginning, everything revolving around these buttons here is controlled from the grey bar at the top where it says Register. If I press Register, this appears back on the screen. Okay, so I've got user. These will be Dave's registrations, but user is my stick. So as you can see here, my registrations are still on the stick. So if I want to play this for Dave, I simply say, hey Dave, look at this. This is my song here. So I highlight song, and then I press registration 1. And guess what? My guitar's here. Look at that. And my registrations 2, number 3 were strings, and all of them are there to call back and to play. And this happens to be the simplest way ever, because it's simply accessed straight from the stick. Okay, now let's go one step deeper. So that's basically save and load a registration. Okay, now let's go one step deeper. Okay, take my stick back out, press exit and go back to the main screen. Okay, so this stick contains my song, my song registration. However, I'm really sick to the back teeth of putting this USB stick into this keyboard continuously. It's the pain of my life. I hate it. I want this song to be permanently on my Genos. How do I do this? Dead easy. Let's show you. So the stick goes in, for the last time I must point out. Okay, so we have our stick in the keyboard, and with everything revolving around registrations, we press this grey bar at the top left hand side. And when I do so, this is what appears. Okay, so now you can see my USB stick has got my song on it. There's song. Okay. Now what I want to do is copy a song onto my user bank. Now, what's your user? Well, your user bank, as you can see here on the left-hand corner, is all of my content that's saved actually in the keyboard. So it's saved on a drive in the instrument. So I never have to access a USB stick. I can literally take this keyboard out, press user, and everything that's on here is already loaded in, and I don't need to use a USB stick. So what I want to do is I want to copy song and put it into my user bank. So it's going to go from my USB stick over here. Oh, over here. This is my USB stick. I want to copy it from there into user. Okay, so what I'm going to do is while I'm on USB 1 and song is highlighted, I'm going to simply press the file option at the top. So I want to do something with my file. This all makes complete sense. And what I want to do is I want to copy song. So if you look at the top now, it says, do you want to copy? Select all. I'm just going to press copy. And now it's saying copy here. Well, I don't want to copy it back onto the same USB stick. I want to copy it to my user drive. So if I press user on the screen and then press copy here, it's now put my song onto my user drive. So, as if by magic, if I take this USB stick out and fold it up and put it in a drawer or somewhere safe, that never happens, does it? You always lose them. So, I'm back on my user drive here now. Look, there's my song. So if I highlight it and then press registration 1, I should technically have my 6/8 rhythm with my guitar. Okay, we've got it working. Ta-da! So now my keyboard has this registration bank, which I called Song, as you can see on the screen. There we go, Song look. That is in my user drive, which is over here on the left-hand side. You can see user lit up in white. So pretty much that is kind of it. That's where we come to the end of the line with this tutorial, because the next step that I want to show you is using Playlist. And Playlist is basically an archive of your music or music books, where depending on where you live. I'm northern, so I'm book. So it will actually archive all of your songs into music books or musical genre, or even into lists ready for you to play a concert if you wanted to. So Song List or Playlist is our next function that we're going to play with. We're going to show you how to create a playlist with the registrations that you've already got inside of Genos. So I really do hope now at this point you're au fait with how to access your registrations. And let's not forget, before we disappear, on the main panel of the keyboard here, we do have a registration up and down. Okay, so let me just show you. If I press this up, it says registration bank 1, registration bank song. It'll basically go through. Let me just show you on the screen. But so if I change these, you can see registration bank song, which is my song. I've got song number 1, I've got a demo, and back to song again. So if I go to song and press registration 1, so you can actually scroll through that list by using these two buttons here. You press them together, you can actually go into the same option as you have with this grey bar if you wish. For me, I've got used to driving this entire instrument from screen. In actual fact, most of the buttons on here, and there aren't many, let's face it, but most of the buttons on here are kind of redundant because you can do 99% of everything through the screen here. I love it. I absolutely love it. The only one drawback is that you have got to remember that if you're playing live, you can't just very easily, you can. You can actually change sounds quickly, but if you preset them and save them in your registrations, you've got immediate, literally straight split second, straight to them. And that's how you can get through to them. Okay, so until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you and say thank you very much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to the channel because it gets more people interested. It also brings us up in the ratings and more people can see basically our video. So please do subscribe, give us a little like or leave a comment below if you found this useful. If there's anything that you would like to see tutorials on, please do let me know because there will be more coming. And the next one on our radar will be Playlist, and it will be really interesting to show you how to use this in various ways to manage the music that you play. It's a great tool, very, very clever and very powerful gadget, basically. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now, say goodbye, and thank you very much for watching and hopefully you made it to the end of the video, and hopefully you now understand how to use registration memories on your Genos. And this applies to the SX900 and all other Yamaha instruments, Tyros 5, Tyros 4. The whole system is just, it's flawless. It's absolutely perfection, and it's very, very easy to do. And the more you do it, it becomes second nature. As with everything. Okay, so take care, look after yourselves, and until next time, bye-bye.